So we would like you to tell us who you are and what inspired you to start the Global Remote Workers.
Actually, what we've been doing the past 4 years is to really make our VAs also proactive, not scared to think on their own. Of course, it's only fair that they see how we do things behind the scenes.
That's how everything started. The rest is history. And then I'm very happy that, even if I didn't have much experience when I started, along the way, I gained a lot of experience. Miss Clarice honed me to what I am right now.
Because, at the end of the day, our VAs and our customers, our clients, they put so much trust in us. Who we hire, how we train, how we manage these people. Yeah, of course, that's the whole point of us doing this podcast, so our customers and our VAs know who we are behind the scenes. What do we talk about? What do I train you guys?
Yes.
And how are we? What are the leadership conversations that we have, which drives the operations of the company and how we do business?
Yes, madam. Actually, not only behind the scene, which is like we would like to inform them how we do things on day to day.
Because at the end of the day, our VAs and our customers, our clients, they put so much trust in us. Who we hire, how we train, how we manage these people. Of course, it's only fair that they see how we do things behind the scenes.
That's right, madam.
So right now, I'm chatting with someone I used to work with a previous company.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically telling me, he's asking if we have a client for him, but with his particular skill set, he has like 10 years experience in insurance industry. Um, he said the other agencies are lowballing him, which, as our research, competitor
The market
research
value.
has, as what it has shown, we are one of the top paying agencies when it comes to this insurance niche. So that's always been my goal, because I was a VA. I was a VA who just so happened to have all these opportunities and probably skill set. So to me, it's a no brainer. You guys can really do the work, but you have to be properly trained. And of course, with the proper training, it also has to come with proper compensation. Because really, what is the whole point of putting up another company, another agency? There's so many agencies out there. If I don't, share the opportunity and the blessing with you guys, that's the whole point why we're doing all this.
It seems that it's a lot, or like it has a big difference when you work on a different country, like here in the Philippines.
Oh, yeah.
So especially when it comes on prioritizing your tasks or your things. So yeah, I saw it on you, madam. Parang sobrang different po on how you do the things there and how we do things here.
Course.
Yeah.
So really, it's a great way for you guys also to see, because when I was in Philippines as a VA, it's one thing to be told that, oh, in the US it's this and that, and another to actually experience it. So when I got here, in the Philippines, all I had to budget was my money. But when I got here, my more scarce resource was actually time and energy. So it really helped me a lot in the sense that I really understood what our customers, what our clients, the insurance agents, as well as the licensed sales producers, how it is for them and how valuable it is for them to have virtual assistants. Which, in the Philippines, of course, I've worked in call centers, but it's a very, very different ballgame. In the call centers, I'm given a script. We're actually not allowed to go off script. You cannot deviate. It's almost as if
It's systemized.
exactly.
I
It's all
believe
about
so.
follow these instructions and you cannot deviate. Versus here, people have such a sense of I can do this on my own. They have such pride on doing it on their own. So, really what I also want our company to implement. And actually, what we've been doing the past 4 years is to really make our VAs also proactive, not scared to think on their own,
Yep.
because that's what the US really is about. But of course, that's where you and Rita come in. You guys are very, you guys already have years of experience managing VAs with US clients. So you can definitely guide them. And that guidance actually translates to stable employment for them.
So, welcome to the first episode of GRW podcast, where we have real conversation about insurance, agency growth, leadership, hiring, and building businesses that scale. So, we'll talk about how the company started, the challenges along the way, lesson learned, and what the future looks. So, our first segment, actually, we would like to check on you first, Miss Clarice. How are you?
No, I have a full-time job. I'm a licensed producer with Allstate. Most of my days would actually start with checking Slack actually to check on the VAs, and then check on Rita's messages, and then of course I get ready to go to work. Most of the time I'm selling pretty much, and of course doing customer service. But of course, that is my training, and whatever I learn in that job, soft skill, hard skill, I transfer it to you guys, and then you guys transfer it to the VAs. So yeah, that's what eats up most of my time work wise. Outside of work, I have a dog who unfortunately is at the vet right now, and costs a lot of money to do ER visits here in the US. But thankfully, because I work in insurance, I have pet insurance. So instead of it being a very debilitating emergency, it's gonna be reimbursed at 90%. So yun, that's who I am primarily. What takes up my days. Of course, I have a husband who's a bartender. And yeah, much like everyone else, I have my dreams. I like spending time with family and friends. I like traveling, but I also really enjoy learning. I've always been a nerd.
We would like you to tell us who you are and what inspired you to start the Global Remote Workers or the staffing agency.
Sure. So, my name is Clarice. I've always worked in the call centers. I started my career with Blue Cross of California as a call center agent. 20 years ago, the only job, because I was orphaned at 19. I'm very lucky to have gone to, good schools in the Philippines. I went to De La Salle University for legal management, and I have my degree from Assumption College in advertising and public relations. So most of my blockmates, most of my friends, of course, went into those fields. Unfortunately, in the Philippines, if you're an orphan, like how I was, wherein you don't really have any, financial help. You have to pay your rent. You have to pay for everything right out of college. The only thing that would really, give you a sustainable wage would be to work graveyard with the call centers, because the call centers were giving spiffs. They were giving the holiday pays, graveyard, night differential. So that's how I found myself to be a call center agent. And then I remember, when I applied, I had 600 pesos. So I was living in Laguna, right? And then I applied in Northgate, Alabang.
What year is this, Miss Clarice?
Ooh.
If you can still remember. If you don't, it's fine.
I graduated 2008. 15 days later, I was already working at a call center in Makati, but Makati was very expensive. So, that was also a call center job with an Australian telco account. So that didn't pan out. I had to go back home to the province in Laguna. And then I remember my uncle from Las Vegas, he went to the Philippines to play golf and visited me. He saw me, asked how I was, and then gave me 1,000 pesos. So out of that 1,000 pesos, I went looking for a job. Um, I had 600 pesos left because the bus ride was 150 each one way. So the whole day, I had printed out a bunch of resumes and just, literally asking people, hey, do you know any job openings? So, yeah, that's 600 pesos the whole day. All I ate was corn and bottled water. And then I bought 5 sticks of Marlboro Lights. So, what happened was I interviewed with 3 different companies in one day. And then
Do you mind telling us what are those or what are the names of those
sure.
company?
So, the first interview I had, I was late because I thought after the bus ride, I was gonna get tricycle. A special ride was expensive, so we had to wait. I was late. The HR person who interviewed me hated me. So the OM was my friend. He was like, hey, try applying here. And yes, I'm gonna name them Capital One. Shout out AJ. So it was Capital One. Yes. AJ, I don't think AJ is still with it. But yeah, he was OM back then. So, it was a straight scheduled interview with HR. HR guy hated me, didn't even interview me because I was late. So, I do know the struggles of not having enough money. You have this big dream. But then you need a lot of money just to show up on time, right? So
Yep.
obviously, wasn't even interviewed. Okay, fine. I have 3 other printed resumes. I interviewed with, I think it was EGS for the Sprint account. Sprint is a telco company here in the US.
Yep. They
I
are
inter-
Alorica na po sila ngayon.
no. I work for Alorica. Wait, yes. No, so it was Genpack. Sorry. So I worked for AGS, now they're Alorica. That's my first insurance call center agent job. So same day ha. Second interview in the afternoon, it was with Genpack. It was the Sprint account. Problem was they were hiring, but it was for sales. I've never considered myself to be of sales. I went to an all girls school with run by nuns. So that aggressive sales, even if I have a degree in advertising and marketing, it was mostly on the creative side. It wasn't really, oh, let's go sell, hype up this product. It wasn't, that wasn't my personality before. So yeah, I was interviewed by 2 clients, as we call them in the call center.
Yep.
They were from the US. And they probably sensed that, I just needed the money, but I wasn't really cut out for the job. I hated sales back then. I hated, um, I hated opening up myself or, yeah, I just, anyway, they sensed that, I probably would have hated that job. So obviously wasn't hired for that job. And then I was really desperate, right? Obviously the whole day I was praying to God to, just land a job because I had 600 pesos for that day. This is 20 years ago. And then one of the people while I was smoking in the smoking area said, "Oh no, they're mass hiring there. It's for Blue Cross of California." So my resume literally said to be a sales agent or customer service agent for Sprint. And then the
I
other
be,
one said for Capital One, right?
yep.
Because those were the 2 that I was originally applying for. I literally crossed that out and said to be a sales customer service agent for, cross it out, Blue Cross of California, because that was the account I was hiring. So when I went there and the receptionist goes, yes, they're mass hiring, and the director would do interviews today. He's gonna be here at 9:30 p.m. So I'm like, okay, cool. Problem is, you know how back in the day, nobody really we have to go to internet shops
Yep.
to print out the resume, right?
Yeah.
So I literally crossed it out and said Blue Cross of California, over Capital One. So yeah, and then I was interviewed by the director, Sir Jason. Sir Jason actually also has his own call center right now.
Oh.
So I guess he really liked me for whatever reason. We talked about, what I learned in school about advertising, public relations. I also became a writer while I was in college. I was a writer for Philippine Daily Empire magazine.
Are you
I work
doing that
during
for a part time,
that.
madam?
Yes. So they pay me 2,000 pesos per article. That's why, sometimes I can go out, I can afford to go to the salon or go shopping. Kat Cruz is the editor in chief of Mega Magazine right now, if I'm not mistaken. We're still friends on Instagram and Facebook. So anyway, for some reason the director really liked me and got hired for that job. I took phone calls for 1 month. And then he, came up with this team that would audit all the phone calls because he said, I have, I probably because I'm such a perfectionist, I always want to do a good job. So, he made me a QA apprentice and then he ran this, contest out of the 220 agents for that account, which is Blue Cross of California. I won and I still have the certificate somewhere wherein I was a top agent for that. So really, I only did phone calls at the call centers for 1 month.
I
Um,
can imagine, madam, how hard it is, because during the time, I believe that there's a like a when you are applying for a sales rep,
mhm,
there is like a lot of qualification coming from the company, especially
yeah,
they have this Versant. Yeah, then the way or the convincing skill of you doing this sale. So
correct.
they are very meticulous during the time. Like unlike today.
So I will say because I am here in the US and I do get those sales calls. It is because a lot of the times I would say us in the call centers, if you were in that sales job you would have high quotas, right? Yes, you would earn a lot more. A lot more for me by then was a 16,000 basic plus spiffs of like I don't know 7 to 10,000 a month. Now that I'm a consumer here in the US, um I find that people are very afraid because there is really a lot of scams. So sometimes when they hear your accent, even with me right now, I do a lot of sales calls, I still have my accent. That would always be there. People are still very wary or very careful because they don't know. They're just scared. They're just scared that you're not, the person you claim to be. It's not a legit phone call. So, seeing both sides of the coin is just yeah, I kind of understand where both sides are coming from. There, after QA, my kumare, which is I'm the godmother of her kid, we used to hang out in college. She reports to the vice president of microsourcing. So, my coworkers, of course, we were earning in Alorica, where I was, QA apprentice. My take home pay was 6,500 pesos every 2 weeks, every 115, I think, or 30 15. So, my friend said, no, you could like do this. We offer 25,000 salary plus you get, 1 day a month paid time off. So you could do this. So I applied there, but I applied as a medical biller. Um, Actually, no, it was my coworkers who told me, no, try microsourcing. They pay good. And then on the day of the final interview, I was so nervous because I knew I was going to be panel interviewed by the owners in New York, right? It was through a conference call. We didn't have Zoom meetings back then. This was around, probably 2013. They I was in the bathroom, trying to touch up because I was super duper nervous. My comare walks in the but I've lost touch with her uh over the years because I was based in Alabang. I studied in Makati and then I'm applying for a job in Mall of Asia. So she was like, Cla, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, who's interviewing you? And I was like, Nick. And she goes, Nick, like, wait a second. I need a manager for this account. It's a billing account. Do you think you can do it? And then I'm like, um, I, I'm a QA. I've never been a supervisor. Like, I don't know. And she's like, no, like, I'll tell
It's the
Nick
same
you will get
level.
this.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
the same level, right, ma'am?
Mm, Actually,
When
when you're doing lateral,
yep. Mhm.
It's not even a skip level because if you want to be an OM, it has to be agent, probably trainer QA, and then supervisor, and then probably an acting OM or a senior TL, and then OM. But no, because I got very very lucky. My command was like, my command reported to the VP of microsourcing. I think his name was Short. He was Norwegian. So, okay, I was like, yes, I said yes to that opportunity. I went on the interview. Client liked me. I got hired. But then during that time, I saw how they were sourcing clients with microsourcing because that was, she was with client procurement. She was with client acquisitions. So she was telling me about all these websites, how they have this, they have
This is the
contact.
time that you know the inside and out of the
Right.
microsourcing.
Yes. So, during those talks, Yossi breaks, smoke breaks, um, I had an idea. And then my client actually said, I can't continue, doing the business anymore. But I'll give it to you. Because my boss was in New York. He was a developer for Apple. And he just got very, very busy. So literally, he passed on his contracts to me. So,
All
that's
of the
why
clients, madam, all of it.
I had 5 clients, doctor clients, yeah. Most of them in New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Texas. I had 2 in New York. So, that was my first business. It was literally passed on to me. I got so lucky. It was just not earning enough money for my boss before. So he literally gave those contracts. Me and my husband, all of a sudden, we had to, put up a business here in the US under our names. This way, those contracts are enforceable here in the US. And then during that time that, I was doing that internet work, of course, I was, trying to hire with microsourcing, obviously, I already had my team in the Philippines. But when that was passed on to me, that's the time wherein I really discovered yung mga Upwork, Odesk, where to really source clients.
Yeah.
And then there was this one telemarketing job because honestly, that medical billing, service that I had, it was so easy because I had like a team that was really running it already. And I was getting 5% of whatever we collected from the doctor. So, I was like, okay, maybe I can scale it to other industries. That was the time I discovered the world of telemarketing. Actually, a very brief sprint also on social media. So around that time, I met, other telemarketers and they told me that, hey, can you apply for jobs for me and then outsource it to me? It was actually their idea because they said, no, your English is really good. You're confident. Clients seem to really like you. And then I found that, yeah, what they're saying is true. Like sometimes they would see a job ad and then they would tell me, hey, go on this interview. And I'm like, I already have 3 clients. Like I cannot service that anymore. They're like, no, just do the interview and then, I'll do the work. They'll pay you, but I just really need to get this job and then make a cut. So it was really, and I guess people still do that, right? So, it was really their idea actually. So in the beginning, no, I was just, doing it for free. And then I realized, you know what?
You're making
I can
money,
sell
madam.
jobs.
You're already making money during that time. Now you don't know how that
Well,
it's
I was
already
giving it
my
away for free. I was giving it
yeah.
away for free. The
Hmm.
problem was the clients thought I was doing the job. So when they make mistakes, I don't know what they're doing.
They get back to
So
you.
it was my reputation, right? So I was like, wait, why don't I just do this for free as a why am I doing this for free as a service? This way it's not my reputation on the line. It's not my name on the line. Also at the same time, I know what they're doing. I can, probably give them tips. Hey, this is what the client wants. This is what you should do. And then charge them a little bit for it. So that's how the idea of putting up a company, a staffing company happened. It was really a series of things that happened. Yes, I prayed to God to send me my, I don't know, life's work or send me a purpose. But it was really a combination of things, and the people that I met that actually led me to, having this staffing agency.
And I believe like one of the things that inspire you is like you would like to have or have your VAs a convenient setup, especially like working home when you are
So
discussing
back
things.
when I was an OM in microsourcing, it would always rain, right? Flood control
Yeah,
scam, it's always been there. Remember, I live in Alabang. My work is in Mall of Asia. I would leave Alabang 4 hours before shift. And then by Magallanes,
you will
wherein
be still
there's floods, this is
you're
15
still
years
late.
ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
The bus will not move because everyone else is not moving because they're waiting for the flood to subside because
Yep.
their cars are going to get wrecked. So I would leave Alabang 4 hours before my shift and still end up late. And I was the OM. It is so embarrassing that it I looked so out of control no matter how hard I tried because my employees would understand, but the clients, our point of contact is late. What's going on?
Yeah.
So,
And your your SOM is keep ringing your phone. Hey, where are you?
no, I didn't really have that. It was just the client.
Oh,
And
really?
the client, of course, if you haven't lived in Manila recently
Mm-hmm.
and have dealt with the traffic,
Oh,
you
they are
it's
aware.
really hard to comprehend how stressful it is to make it to work on time. So, from microsourcing, I obviously work from home because my client already gave me the business. So I don't have to show up to the office anymore, right? I already have a business in the US right away. So I work from home, and then that's when I realized how much time, money, energy I'm able to save, and the quality of life is just so much better. I was able to scale to different industries because I don't have to come to work anymore. That simple act of not coming to work anymore has given me opened up so much more opportunities for
You're
probably
not required anymore to have 3 hours before your shift or
Travel.
including travel.
Putting
Correct.
on makeup, shopping.
Yep.
But those things I can control, eating out. I don't have to do that
Uh-uh.
anymore because eating out can be pretty expensive, right, Rita?
Yes.
So yes, but mm-hmm,
All right.
that's it.
So yeah, I think we actually have a follow up questions with that, Miss Clarice, if you don't mind. Yeah, we would like to know if there's a specific moment where you realized there was a need for this business and what problem were you are trying to solve.
It was when my friends, really, I was a telemarketer, okay? So we had this group chat without the bosses, without the clients. We're all talking about, oh my gosh, I hate this manager. Oh my gosh, the client is nice, but the manager is like a monster. So, and they're not wrong. Yeah, the manager didn't know how to help us, but would always be like, hey, where are you? Hey, you didn't hit your quota. So, and then they're like, hey, why don't you just apply for this job for me? And then I'll do the work. You make a little bit of a cut. So, that's really where that seed of, oh, I could probably do this for a living. But one thing I would want to tweak is I need to know what my people are doing. I cannot just be, taking a percentage of whatever the client was making and then not lessening their misery or at least helping them keep the client. Because that is really, as a freelancer in the Philippines, when you're a freelancer in the Philippines, yes, you would earn more when you get direct clients. But the reality is there's so much miscommunication, there's so much nuances, there's so many things lost in translation that probably causes a lot of the scams, as they say, wherein a
Correct.
client doesn't even pay you. The
Yeah.
VA to the VA, it's like, hey, I was on the clock, I did my work, I did what you asked me to do. Why are you not paying me? And then for the client side, it's like, you don't get it. You don't get my instruction, so you didn't do the work. Why would I pay you? That's the gap that we're trying to bridge with our agency. So, that's what we're trying to solve. And it serves the VAs because obviously everyone needs opportunities. And it serves the customers because anytime they go on interviews, they want you to be the person they're looking for. They don't want to go on another interview. So literally we're trying to serve both.
So yeah, it's a very satisfying answer coming from you, Miss Clarice, with this question. So yeah, the next question will be for Miss Rita. Yeah, we would like to know when did you first become involved with GRW with Miss Clarice?
I'm thinking. Just kidding. Yeah, so when I think about how I joined GRW, it's really kind of meaningful to me as well. So when I first joined GRW, it was way back December 2022. So it's very unexpected. I would say it's meaningful because throughout the whole year of 2022, I'm searching for jobs since January up to December. And then December comes, I was like still not getting any opportunity. I'm looking for a work from home setup, and I tried every sites that I I was informed by my other friends, and I didn't get any luck in there. So yeah, I just wished and prayed. But before that, we have this tradition in the Philippines where we have simbang gabi. So once you completed those 9 masses, you make a wish, and then they said it will come true. And then I did my best to complete it. And then right after the last mass, I went home, and then I got a call from my friend Mackie. So he was the previous business dev manager, and then he was like, "Hey, do you have a job?" And I was like, "No, I don't." And he was like, I think you will be a good fit for this role. So, if you can come here and at my house right now, then let's have a call with my boss." And I was like, "Really? What's the task?" And he was like, "You can do it. I know you can do it. You're very tech savvy. Just trust me." So I was like, "Okay." After the call, I drove ahead and went to his house. And then, yeah, we had a quick call with Miss Clarice. And also, it's really, I'm not prepared. I don't even have my resume. So we just had a very quick call, have a short discussion about my skills and stuff. And then, yeah, that's how everything started. The rest is history. And then I'm very happy that, even if I didn't have much experience when I started. Along the way, I gained a lot of experience. Miss Clarice honed me to what I am right now. I've learned a lot of skills that I didn't know I can do because of Miss Clarice. Thank you.
Oh.
Miss Clarice, when you guys first met, what's your first impression to Miss Rita when you did
So
the
I
interview,
was
like
pretty
having
upset when I met Rita, and much like you, Clay, you know how I am in final interviews. I
yeah.
am a lady. So when I met Rita, I was upset because Maki was my third business dev manager. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I would always
You're
end up doing
overthinking.
their work. All I wanted for them is to just show up. But they weren't because, really in their hearts of hearts, they wanted to work directly with a client. They didn't want to be an EA for a staffing agency. They wanted to work directly with a client. So, I was pretty upset that Maki was leaving because
Living.
he was going to be an OM for their own call center, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I, doing wrong? It's so hard. Like I've worked so hard to be where I am. Why is it so hard to, find the right talent? But I also know that the job is going to be demanding. It required a special type of person, not just somebody who's hardworking, somebody who will have integrity. Integrity, of course, is what we do when nobody is looking. So, yeah, I found that in Rita. When she first started, I was like really impressed too. On the first day, she did probably Maki's 2 weeks worth of work. And on the first day. And I was like, okay, let's see if this would really pan out. I've, heard a lot of people who seems promising in the beginning, but you know, down the road they lose steam and I end up picking up their slack or,
It's really hard to
worst.
gain Miss Clarissa's trust.
Yeah. Traumatized. Because, no, because
I,
to me, it's like, you do this job and when you're hired, thousands of people, at some point you would really think everybody lies or at least exaggerates on their final interview. So, Rita, she actually underpromised. But Maki was saying, no, madam, she's not gonna be like me. Trust me, she can do the job. So I'm like, okay, I'm
typical
so yeah.
typical reaction.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. No, because Maki was sleeping on the job. I
Oh,
was so busy doing like his job, I didn't have time to check until at
check
some
on
point I'm
check
like,
him.
why am I doing your job? It's because he had, other jobs, which is, one of the other pitfalls of they're really of hiring, somebody from the online world. When you don't have an office, it has to be a trust-based relationship. And as much as you don't want to accuse people up, there will be signs.
At the way I look at you guys, kayo pong dalawa, it's like a relationship of being sister po.
Ah,
That I'm the younger one. Just kidding. Yeah,
All right.
he does everything for me. That's why.
Ayun po. So yeah, for the next question to Miss Rita, we would like to know what was the company like in those early days, Miss Rita, on your point of view only. All right. Since I believe that Miss Clarice will tell you everything that you have to do, but during the time, how is it?
at first, when I joined, I would say the environment is peaceful and very welcoming. So when I learned, Maki trained me for like 2 weeks, but to be honest, he just trained me for all of those tasks in just, I would say, 2 days. So he just trained me everything before he left. So he learned, he discussed everyone. He introduced me to all the VAs, and then all the VAs are very very kind. I get their I earned their trust right away, especially with Jalu. And then yeah, the tasks were very light, I would say, because at that time we just have a few clients, and then which it gave me the opportunity to learn the business, understand what the client needs. I know Miss Clarice was busy at that time as well, but when she has the time, she always makes sure that she trains me and give me more information about what we do in the company. And then as time goes by, challenges also occurred. But the thing that I like about Miss Clarice is that she always makes me feel that I'm not facing all the challenges all alone. She always step in when things this is something that I cannot do anymore. So we always have each other's back. And looking back, I'm really grateful that I was able to witness the company's growth, and also seeing my old self, how I was honed by Miss Clarice. Thanks, Clay. It makes me think about way back 2022.
For, our viewers who probably don't know what that means, Rita is in the, her name is on the papers, like on the certificates here in the US. So yeah, I absolutely couldn't do it without her. And, if there would be one thing that our viewers, I would say, would learn from Rita is, as a business owner, uh, you guys should know that you inspire the boss. Your enthusiasm, your passion for work, your dreams for the future, those are all fuel for us business owners. So when you come to work enthusiastic, not complaining that you have to, put out all these fires, that is so inspiring to me. And with me, with my, full-time job, my boss always tells me, like, I really love the enthusiasm because that fuels them. When you're an entrepreneur, when you're a business owner, it gets so tiring and so lonely because you cannot complain to your employees. You guys can complain to each other, but as the boss, I can complain to you guys because we know I also hold your hopes and dreams. So, like coming to work enthusiastic, I love it. That's attitude, obviously.
We would like to know what was the hardest challenge in the beginning on building the GRW or the staffing agency.
Woo!
I'm sorry for bringing up this.
Rita, do you remember that we had this client before who was referred to me by a client I worked with in a previous company, and I know the VA. I've worked with the VA. The problem was the VA had some personal issues, and I would always try to help them extend our patience.
Yes.
But the reality is, you have to draw the line between professionalism and your, personal problems. We all have personal problems. So, we lost that client. And then there was a time. Honestly, it took what? 3 years. I would say 3 years of the company before I could have taken a salary. The first 3 years, it was always reinvest, reinvest, reinvest. We weren't earning enough. We weren't earning enough to offer, dental health life insurance to you guys. We weren't earning enough to hire more people or buy an office. We weren't earning enough. That's the reality. So around that time, we lost a client because I was so much on the inside. But that was a turning point for me that, as much as I was protecting the VAs, because I was a VA, I have to protect my clients because they trusted me so much. So, trying to balance between, I want to help you guys. I know how hard it is to get an opportunity, trying to land a client in your own. And that balance of, well, you have to be professional. We all have work. Trying to, how to say, chase, that to me was the hardest. Because for the longest time, I was only seeing it from the VA's point of view. And it was hard for me to admit that, what, I should be siding more with that dollar too. Because this person is actually paying me and trusted me that I know what I'm doing and that I have their back. And I'm sure, as a VA, they're gonna be like, oh, you're not, you don't have my back. Because I have a management degree.
Mhm.
Management is always making sure your people are doing that. You're making
Taken care of. Yeah.
But now
That's
that
what
as
I
a
felt.
CEO, right. Well, you're probably doing your job good. But now that as a CEO, now I'm a business owner. I see it from, that hey, this is my client. The contract is between me and this client. This client trusted me. So, I really have to protect them. That to me would probably was that mind shift. That probably was the hardest, thing for me to, accept that, hey, I thought I knew what I was doing, but I actually had to do. It's probably ego, but, that's fun now, obviously.
So, did you ever think about giving up when you experienced that scenario? And what kept you going?
No, not during that time.
Mm.
I would say just recently when we hired someone that I used to work with in another company. And then we didn't do due diligence. So, during that time, and we lost contacts, a couple of contacts, that's a couple of months, right? But one of them, I'm super proud. One of them, even if our, business relationship with them ended, they still reply to our emails. They still, it was never a bad lawsuit type of thing. It just, ran its course. Um, we lost a couple of client contracts. And then, of course, no company is perfect. And then, yeah, there were so many fires recently. So yes, I told you guys that, right? I was like that is what you think that's gonna happen when this happens. So yes, I thought of that at first. But I do know that with businesses, it's you know, the bigger you get and the more people to handle, it will probably just get worse. Worse in the sense that there would be more files. But it doesn't mean that, nothing we can handle really. The company is not obviously doing okay. It's still scaling. It's still, executing more ideas, more visions, more training for our VAs and you guys. So, as long as it's doing that, I don't have any loans of any type. And for a US business to not have any debt, well, I do have a business credit card, but that's that's something to be really proud of. So, yes, there was a day, a couple of weeks ago, when I shared with you guys. But, I know that this is something I would want to do. No matter if I'm, open up another business. Because this is where I come from. This is,
This is
this is what I was meant to do. I just wish it would, make more money. But, yeah, that's what's it.
all right. So yeah, there will be a last question for Miss Rita. Thank you, Miss Clarice, for answering those questions. So yeah, our last question to Miss Rita. What were some of the biggest obstacles you witnessed while helping build the company?
Hmm. I think the first one that Miss Clarice mentioned, and that's I would say it's also an enlightenment with us that we decided that we have to know what our VAs are doing. We have to learn. We just don't need to be on the VA's side all the time. We have also to understand client's side, because one of the challenge I have faced also during the marketing is that it's really hard to gain and to earn our clients trust, since we are just also a growing company and we have to prove to them that we have the consistency to provide skilled VAs, virtual assistants, and that we all of them has experience with that, you know most of the things that we do here. And also it's hard to satisfy those clients. And yeah, also the other thing, the second one was, uh those VAs that are fishing with us. So it's an enlightenment as well, because it's I trust a lot. As Miss Claire's mentioned, I am very soft hearted. So it's I'm trying my best actually. Right now I'm trying my best to be smart when it comes to the initial interviews. And I always say this to the initial interview, that our company's goal is to provide long term employment to the VAs, because they work direct clients, and they all have been scammed.
The,
They want to have a
the
longer
same scenario of getting not getting paid at
yes.
the end of the
So
day.
yeah, I always make sure that we provide a long and stable employment to them. And then when I saw how eager they are, yeah, that is what company I am looking for.
They're eager to
And
eat. They're eager to pay their bills. That's why sometimes we lie.
yeah, that
That's
is
just the
one.
reality. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's all for today. Thank you for your participation, Miss Rita, and especially you, Miss Clarice. I know that you had a emergency with your dog and still making time with us.